Welcome back to Bookkast Bestsellers in Minutes, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Hillbilly Elegy.
Oh, yeah. This one is a good one.
This is written by J.D. Vance, and
It's really become like a touchstone for understanding,
yeah,
all the complexities of the white working class in America.
yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's a memoir.
Yeah, it's his own personal story.
Yeah.
But it's also like, kind of a social analysis.
Right.
Where he's tackling like, these big issues like poverty and social mobility, cultural identity, all kind of, seen through the lens of his own life.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
And, growing up in Middletown, Ohio,
Right.
a town with a heavy Appalachian
Migrant population.
Yeah. It's like stepping into a different world.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like most of us, can only imagine, what that was like to grow up in that kind of environment.
Right. And to really grasp the book's impact, I think you really have to understand that historical context.
Yeah, you have to go back in time a little bit. And, imagine like these entire communities migrating, from the Appalachian Mountains to the industrial Midwest, during like the mid-20th century, looking for work and opportunity.
Yeah. And it's just like traveling with them, along that hillbilly highway that they talk about.
That's right.
Bringing their values and their culture into this new and sometimes clashing environment.
Yeah, for sure. Because, it wasn't, always this smooth transition,
Right.
And you see those cultural clashes like really play out in JD's family dynamics, especially with his grandparents.
Yes, Mama and Papa.
Mama and Papa.
Oh my gosh, they're such
larger-than-life characters.
Yeah, Mama is such a vivid character in this.
Oh, she is.
She's tough, she's loyal to her family.
Seriously loyal, yeah.
She's not afraid to speak her mind?
No, she's not.
The book really captures her personality.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, like, how Vance, like, connects, her toughness to her upbringing,
Yes.
In the Kentucky Hills.
In the Kentucky Hills.
Where, like, violence and family feuds.
Oh, yes.
Were just, like, commonplace.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Right.
How much do our environments shape who we become?
Exactly.
And
then you've got Papa.
Yeah.
Who, while initially charming.
Yeah, he's got this, like, kind of charisma about him.
Yeah, but struggles with alcoholism.
Sadly, yeah.
Which leads to a very volatile
relationship with Mama. Just like...
Talk about a family dynamic.
Complicated,
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it really is.
So interesting. And what I think is so interesting is that Mama and Papa, despite all their struggles, they represent a generation shaped by their times. Where hard work was so important.
Paramount, like that was everything.
The wealthy were viewed with suspicion.
A lot of distrust there.
And their political leanings were so staunchly democratic.
Yeah, they were very much a product of their time,
Yes.
For sure.
And it's such a far cry from the world that J.D. grows up in.
It is.
He experiences like a revolving door of father figures' financial instability.
Right.
The ever-present shadows of domestic violence and drug use.
Yeah, and I mean, you can just imagine how that shapes.
Right.
His understanding of like, loyalty and honor and, toughness.
Yeah.
He develops this code of conduct to like navigate that environment.
Right, and then there's Middletown.
Oh, yeah.
Itself.
Middletown.
It's like the town itself is a character in this story.
It really is.
Experiencing decline.
Yeah.
In the late 20th and early 21st century.
Yeah, those were tough times for a lot of those, Rust Belt towns.
Yeah, businesses collapse. Poverty rises.
Yeah.
And the steel industry, which once provided stability, suffers from globalization.
Yeah, globalization hits hard.
Yeah.
In those places.
So you've got these two different worlds colliding.
The Middletown of his grandparents' generation.
Right, where Armco Steel provided these decent jobs.
Yeah, good jobs.
A sense of hope.
Right.
Clashes with the Middletown of J.D.'s youth.
Where opportunities seem to be vanishing.
And there's that scene where J.D. thinks he's come up with this brilliant math solution.
Oh, yeah, in first grade.
Yeah. And the classmate just multiplies and gets the answer faster.
Yeah, just like that.
And he realizes right then and there that he's starting at an educational disadvantage.
And that's like such a powerful example, of how those social and economic circumstances can impact a child's journey.
Yes.
It's not just about individual ability. It's about, having the right tools.
Right.
And the right support.
Yeah.
To succeed.
And this is where Mama steps in as this pivotal figure in his life.
Yeah.
JD moves in with her during high school, and she becomes this driving force.
That's
pushing him toward education.
Yeah. She's like, you're going to do better than this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to make something of yourself.
Her tough love approach is fascinating.
It is, because she doesn't just lecture, She makes him get a job at Dillman's grocery store.
At Dillman's.
Which becomes this, microcosm of Middletown society.
Right. They witness people gaming the welfare system, a growing resentment towards both the wealthy and the quote-unquote undeserving poor, and a very noticeable shift in political views, moving away from those staunch democratic leanings of their generation.
Yeah, they were, old school Democrats, but they start to see, that shift happening.
Towards the Republican side.
Yeah.
So Dillman's becomes this sort of social laboratory for JD.
Right.
Exposing him to all these complexities and contradictions.
Yeah. And it's really, a turning point for him.
Yeah.
But it's not easy,
Yeah.
He still has challenges.
Yeah.
Ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a turning point.
It is.
But things are far from easy.
Right. Because that's the reality of breaking free from these deeply ingrained patterns.
Yeah.
And, systemic disadvantages, it's a journey. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix at all.
It's definitely a process.
For sure. He's straddling two worlds.
He is.
On one hand, he's embracing education.
Right.
Opportunity.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, he's grappling with where he comes from.
Those deep-rooted values.
Yeah.
Those experiences, it's that internal conflict.
Yes.
It's a major theme.
Yes.
In Hillbilly Elegy, JD's constantly questioning his identity.
Right.
As he climbs that, social ladder.
Yeah.
He's leaving poverty behind, but it's not a clean break.
No.
It's messy, it's emotional,
right.
And it's full of contradictions.
Right, and that tension really comes to a head.
Oh.
When he arrives at Yale Law School.
Talk about
a different world.
A different world, right.
So different from anything he's ever known.
Yeah, and you can just sense his unease.
Oh, yeah.
When he's describing, his classmates, their backgrounds.
Yeah.
At Yale, having a surgeon for a mother and an engineer for a father is considered middle class?
Right.
That's a far cry from the struggles that he witnessed.
Yes. And there's that anecdote
when
he's on this fancy dinner date with Usha.
Oh, yeah.
And he's completely lost when it comes to ordering wine.
The wine list.
I know.
Yeah.
He's trying to fit in, but it feels like putting on a costume.
And that's that, hidden cost of upward mobility.
Yes.
It's not just about the money.
Right.
It's about navigating
a whole new set.
A whole new set of social codes, expectations, and sometimes it can feel like you're betraying
your roots.
Your roots.
Speaking of roots, remember that scene where he takes his Yale friends to Cracker Barrel?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Oh, it's so good.
His friends are looking at it like it's a, greasy public health crisis.
I know.
And it's a humorous moment, but it speaks volumes about this clash between, his old world and his new world.
Right. Even something as simple as food
becomes a dividing line. Between social classes.
Yes. And amidst all of this, his relationship with his mother continues to be a source of both love and frustration.
Yeah, of course.
Her struggles with addiction, particularly her turn to heroin.
Yeah.
Really weigh heavily on him.
It's just heartbreaking to see how those cycles, of addiction and dysfunction continue to play out.
Yes.
Even as he's trying to create a better life for himself.
Right. And it just makes you question, can you truly escape?
Right.
Those patterns, or are they always lurking beneath the surface?
Are you always going to be haunted by the past?
There's a sense of despair when he finds out about his mom's heroin use.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes him question if people like them can ever truly break free.
But, the book also offers these glimpses of hope.
Yes.
Showcasing the resilience of the human spirit.
Yes.
And, one of the most inspiring examples was JD's cousin Gail.
Yes, Gail.
She becomes a single mother as a teenager, facing, seemingly insurmountable obstacles.
And yet she embodies that hillbilly spirit.
She does.
That Mom always talked about.
Yeah, that grit.
Yeah.
That determination.
Working tirelessly.
Right.
to create a better future for herself and her daughter.
And it's a testament to the power of personal agency.
Yes.
Even in the face of overwhelming odds.
Right. It reminds us that while social and economic factors play a significant role, individual choices and determination can make a difference.
Absolutely. And JD's own journey is a testament to that as well.
Yeah.
You know, he could have easily succumbed to the negativity and the despair that surrounded him in Middletown.
Yeah.
But he chose a different path.
Right. Like his decision to join the Marines.
Yeah, that was pivotal.
That was a pivotal moment.
It provided him with that structure.
Yes.
The discipline.
Yeah.
The sense of purpose.
Yeah. He craved it.
He needed it.
He needed it.
It was like this drastic change of environment.
Yeah.
To break free from those ingrained patterns.
And tap into his potential.
Exactly.
And it's just amazing how he transforms.
He does.
During his time in the Marines.
It's remarkable.
He goes from being a kid who nearly failed out of high school.
Yeah.
To becoming this confident, capable leader.
And it speaks to the transformative power of finding the right environment.
Yes.
One that challenges you.
Yes.
And pushes you to grow.
And let's not forget, Mama.
Mama.
She may be tough as nails.
Tough love.
But she is a constant source of support.
She's there for him.
Yeah, pushing him to believe in himself and strive for something more.
Yeah. She instilled in him that fundamental value of hard work.
Yeah.
And that belief that he could achieve anything he set his mind to.
Yes.
Even if it meant escaping the limitations of their community.
And it wasn't just Mama.
Right.
He encountered teachers, mentors, friends along the way.
Other positive influences.
Who offered guidance and support, showing him that success is often a collaborative effort.
It really highlights the importance of community.
Yes.
And the impact that, you know, positive influences can have on a person's life.
But even with all the individual effort and determination,
right,
the book doesn't shy away.
No, it doesn't.
From the systemic issues.
A bigger picture.
At play.
Yeah.
JD raises tough questions.
Yeah, he does.
About public policy and the role of government in addressing poverty.
Right.
Social immobility.
You know, these big issues.
He argues that while personal responsibility is essential, we can't ignore the impact of government policies on creating opportunities.
Right.
And addressing inequality.
Absolutely. He points to things like housing segregation.
Yes.
You know, the concentration of poverty in certain neighborhoods as examples of how policies can sometimes exacerbate the problem.
There's a particularly frustrating scene where JD's neighborhood tries to limit the number of Section 8 vouchers. And the federal government steps in.
And blocks it. Yeah.
It highlights those unintended consequences of well-intentioned policies.
And how they can further marginalize those they're meant to help.
And it underscores the need for nuanced and thoughtful
approaches.
Approaches to addressing these complex issues.
Yeah, because there's no one-size-fits-all solution. And we need to be mindful of the impact
of our policies.
Our policies have.
On vulnerable communities.
Vulnerable communities, exactly.
And JD also sheds light on how cultural norms contribute to these challenges.
Right. Like, for instance, he talks about how working class boys often associate academic achievement with femininity, which is fascinating.
It's a powerful insight.
It is.
Into how deeply embedded these cultural beliefs can be. And it suggests that changing those attitudes might be even more challenging than changing policy.
It might be.
So where does all of this leave us?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to take away?
What's the takeaway?
From Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, it's a book that offers more questions than answers.
Right.
And that's part of its power.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about poverty, social mobility, cultural identity.
It's not a feel-good story.
It's not.
But it's a necessary one.
It's a necessary one.
It challenges our assumptions.
Yeah.
And makes us think critically about the systems that perpetuate inequality.
Exactly. And J.D. Vance's story is ultimately a call for empathy and understanding.
Yes.
You know, it reminds us that everyone has a story, and we should be careful not to judge without understanding the context.
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in addressing these issues, whether it's supporting those in our communities or advocating for policies that create a more just and equitable society.
Absolutely.
It's not about pointing fingers or placing blame.
No.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity.
Right.
Working together to create a better future.
A better future for everyone.
For everyone. And there's so much more to unpack in J.D. Vance's
powerful memoir.
Yeah. So stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive into Hillbilly Elegy.
Where we'll explore
the
emotional and psychological legacy of J.D.'s upbringing and his journey towards healing and self-discovery.
Welcome back to Bookkast Bestsellers in Minutes, and we're wrapping up our deep dive into Hillbilly Elegy.
Yeah, this is where the book, gets really personal.
It does.
Where J.D., really starts to confront that, emotional baggage
Yes.
that he carries, and realizing how those early experiences, of chaos and instability,
right,
even violence, have, shaped him in ways that, he's only starting to understand.
Yeah, it's like they've become ingrained in his very being.
Oh, yeah.
Affecting his relationships and how he interacts with the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He talks about feeling like a turtle,
Oh, yeah.
withdrawing into his shell at the first sign of conflict.
Right.
Which is a coping mechanism.
Totally.
He learned, growing up in that environment.
Right.
Where, disagreements could quickly escalate into aggression.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and he even describes his struggle with managing money, hiding his savings in different places, because he learned early on not to trust anyone.
Not even family. With his finances. And it's like, these deeply rooted habits and anxieties are hard to shake, even when he's no longer
living in that environment.
In that same environment.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder of how our early experiences can leave those lasting imprints on our subconscious.
It's like those experiences create a blueprint for how we navigate the world, even when those patterns are no longer serving us well.
Right. And one of the most striking examples of this is that incident where he has a meltdown after a bad job interview.
Oh, yeah.
Lashing out at Usha.
Right.
And then running off.
Yeah. He just bolts.
It's just this raw.
Unfiltered moment
where those childhood patterns of escape and avoidance resurface.
They come rushing back.
Yeah. It's a turning point in his self-awareness.
It is.
Because he sees himself repeating those destructive patterns.
Of his past. And it terrifies him.
He even compares himself to his mother.
The very person he's been trying to escape.
Yes, that realization.
It must have been.
Must have been so incredibly painful.
Yeah.
But it's also what propels him.
Towards healing. It forces him to confront those buried traumas and begin to understand, how they've shaped his behavior.
Right. He starts to explore the cycle of trauma.
Yeah.
How childhood experiences can literally alter brain chemistry.
Literally.
Leaving individuals in a perpetual state of fight or flight.
Right.
Even when there's no real danger.
Always on edge.
It's as if his body is constantly on high alert, expecting conflict and reacting accordingly.
Right.
Even in situations where a calm, measured response is more appropriate.
Yeah. And he even, delves into the adverse childhood experiences study.
The ACEs.
The ACEs study, which shows those long-term health consequences of early trauma.
And it highlights that it's not just about emotional well-being, but also physical health.
Right. Your mind and body are connected.
Yes. It makes you realize just how crucial it is to recognize these patterns.
And seek support. To break free from them.
And he finds solace in talking about his experiences with people who understand, like his Aunt Wee.
Yeah, someone who's been there.
It's a reminder that finding a supportive community, whether it's family, friends, or therapists, can be such a powerful catalyst for healing and growth.
Absolutely. It's about creating a space where you feel safe.
To
be vulnerable and process those difficult emotions.
And even though he's achieved so much graduating from Yale Law School, landing a great job.
Right on paper.
There's still a sense of unease.
Yeah.
Of not quite belonging.
In this new world.
That he's created.
It's like he's achieved upward mobility. But he hasn't fully escaped the grip of his past.
That tension between his past and present is palpable.
Throughout the book.
He wrestles with those feelings of guilt.
Like he's betrayed his roots.
By pursuing a different life.
Right.
And then there's that recurring dream.
About the monster.
Which becomes a symbol of his fears and anxieties.
Yeah, that fear of, repeating those, destructive patterns of the past.
And it's a powerful metaphor.
It is.
For that internal battle that he's facing.
Right.
That fear of succumbing to those ingrained patterns.
And repeating that cycle.
Repeating the cycle of dysfunction. But there's a shift.
There is.
in the final iteration of the dream.
In the final dream.
Instead of fighting the monster,
he hugs his dog.
He hugs his dog. It's a powerful image of choosing love over aggression, breaking free from the cycle of violence.
Powerful imagery there.
It's a moment of profound transformation, suggesting that even deeply ingrained patterns
can be overcome
with self-awareness.
With conscious effort.
And a conscious choice to choose a different path.
Yeah, to break the cycle.
It's a powerful message of hope and redemption, even after experiencing so much pain and struggle.
Resilience.
And ultimately, that's what makes Hillbilly Elegy
such a compelling and impactful book.
It's a raw, honest look at the challenges facing the white working class in America.
Yeah, but it's also a testament to the resilience.
To the resilience of the human spirit.
Of the human spirit, exactly.
Don't offer easy answers.
Yeah.
Or simple solutions, but it compels us to confront those difficult truths about poverty, social mobility, the lasting impact of early experiences.
Exactly. It's a story that stays with you.
Yes, it does.
Long after you finish reading it.
Yeah.
And it prompts reflection and maybe even, inspires you to become part of the solution.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Hillbilly Elegy. We've explored the social, economic, and deeply personal aspects of J.D. Vance's journey, a journey that sheds light on the complexities of the American dream and the challenges faced by those struggling to achieve it.
Yeah, we hope you found this deep dive, and insightful and thought-provoking.
Yes. Hillbilly Elegy is a book that deserves to be read, discussed, and grappled with.
Absolutely.
And that's Bookkast for today. We brought you Hillbilly Elegy, a bestseller in minutes. We'll be back with another deep dive into a fascinating book soon. Until then, keep reading and keep exploring.